Alrighty, we're almost set to go. So how is everyone in Twitch and YouTube doing? We will get started in a moment, and yeah, it's gonna be cool and stuff. How's everyone doing? Let's see. Your local shy guy in chat's like, played Kingdom Hearts 2.5 first and didn't understand a thing except beating up bad guys. But is interested in case. That's cool. Alrighty, I think I'm gonna get started, so I will pull up the actual thing and hope everything doesn't crash and burn in 3, 2, up. Oops, wait, things are crashing and burning. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Bam! Hey everybody, wait for the audience. We should be live now. And yeah, welcome back to another DS Dissects featuring some lovely fellas. We have over on the left we have David Russell, and over on the right we have Kinode from Sound Ideas, who are both super cool musicians, arrangers, pianists, podcasters, overall general Kingdom Hearts music fans, and they know a lot more about the series than I do. I am simply
a fan of cage music.
I'm simply small scrub in large pond.
No, baby, you good.
Yeah, you're better than me.
Oh, I appreciate the regular Pat emotes in the Twitch chat. Cool.
Pat is here.
Is he? I did not see.
In emoji form.
In
Oh,
emoji form. But yeah, basically, so one of the reasons I got into playing this song in particular is because around like December, one of my friends invited me to a server with like they had his Kinode and David Russell in it, and I was like, oh well, it just seems like a fun server to be with some friends over winter break and whatnot. And over that, my knowledge about the music in the Kingdom Hearts franchise just like changed forever, to say the least. I know now. I'll now know, or at least attempt to know a lot of. My brain is continuously bombarded by facts and information and interesting opinions that have been digesting, and it all culminated in this piano cover of Traverse Town from Kingdom Hearts that I want to share some of the bits about. So yeah, let's get into it by listening to the original Traverse Town real quick, which is as I put in the title of this live stream, it's a quaint little bop. Oh shoot, wait, I forgot, y'all have to be able to listen to it too.
That's okay. I think we've got it memorized.
Yeah, I'll just imagine it over here.
So as you can hear, it's got the nice little jazzy vibe about it. You got the smooth soprano sax, I think? I don't know, it sounds like soprano sax to me. Along with like the general shuffle hi-hat ding 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 ding. And the piano doing some like comping in the background. Overall nice and merry, and just a bit of context on like this scene. It's like it's a song that plays like in the first sort of like tutorial world of Kingdom Hearts 1 after all the nonsense plot stuff goes down in the beginning, and then you just drop down in this town in Twilight, not Twilight Town. No, I was gonna say town surrounded in Traverse, but Traverse is not a time of day. Yeah, what's this Kingdom Hearts places being named after like time of the day or like weather?
It's cool. Like there's Daybreak, there's Traverse. Which one's the midday one?
I don't think Traverse is a time of day.
You know, Traverse, that time?
The time when you traverse
the Twilight
time?
Town one. Shoot, did I already say that? Well, anyway.
Well, I guess that's it. They have Twilight and Daybreak. That's it.
Twilight, Daybreak. It just seems like all the original worlds are in a different time, and then Scala is like sun, down, noon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically this tune is just like generally like, you know, got the smooth jazz feel, so it's overall nice and relaxed for a nice tutorial level. And so now we look at the piano collections version of it, which we actually get to pull up some of the sheet music for that, so we can actually take a look at some of the notes that are being played. And speaking of notes, in the piano collections, there's actually like a little set of like Japanese notes on how to play each arrangement, which I actually got David to help me with like translating what it says, and if it would load, please load. That's the bottle. Okay.
I got David to use Google Translate in this picture.
Right. So let's see. So the arrangement was made by Sachiko Miyano, and what does the arrangement say? What does the text say again?
Let's see. So it's a song with an impressive, peaceful melody. The accompaniment that goes like dun 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 dun, flows as lightly as possible, and the key is playing it in a well balanced manner. It's all the sort of like the normal stuff you'd see written on the sheet music, which is exactly how you played it. It says ingenuity of damper pedal.
Ingenuity of damper pedal. That's something I have to work on. My engineering of the damper pedal happens to be smack it down for as long as possible.
I guess that just means like you can be free with it, which is normal. Whatever. By using it, the bass on the first beat should be heard well, I suppose.
Right.
And the rest is to be conscious of the harmony. What else is there? Please play while I'm trying to not make the gap between the melody and the harmony large. And then part A feels like approaching, and then the ending should feel like you're receding. All this is just normal things. So it's
interesting.
Exactly.
They basically mentioned
exactly like a performance would do it.
Yeah, So basically, you just mentioned like play lightly, you know, adds into like the quaint little tone. I'm gonna say quaint way too much because I do not have a thesaurus up. It played lightly, like crescendo, decrescendo into it. Be careful with the damper pedal because having too much sustain pedal will just make it feel like heavy and sad. Heavy and sad to people hearing it because everything will just be muddy and washed out. And yeah, let's get into listen. Let's see if I miss any chats. All right. So let's see if there's anything else gonna miss. Oh yeah, I just wanted to. No, not yet. Let's just go into it. Let's go right into it. So as I mentioned in the beginning, start off nice and quiet. So. And already right off the bat, I just want to mention some of the techniques here, at least just in the opening bit, before like the melody even comes in. I like how the way it's written, you have the like the bum ba da dum ba da dum, which, and then the left hand like has like the jumping like just C sharp octaves going up and down. You get this like hopscotchy like bouncy vibe of just like, you know, like a little kid just like hopping down the street, which of course play it nice and lightly in order to give off that vibe. Don't make it too heavy, and as I mentioned,
Sachiko Miyano always does this thing where she just like introduces the tiniest part of like the idea of the arrangement in like basically everything she writes, and that's why she's one of the best arrangers working at Square Enix. But like the da 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 is in part just the rhythm of the left hand, but also like is a recurring like segment throughout the whole arrangement, which is so cool.
Actually, what else has Sachiko Miyano worked on, just as context for people's?
I think before this, the most important thing she did was the Distant Worlds Final Fantasy Orchestra arrangements.
Oh, oh, really? Did she do all of them, or like?
No, she just helped out with them. What else did she do? She did the. Do you know how to pronounce Gurren Lagann?
Gurren Lagann.
She was an assistant, I guess, with that.
Something European orchestra.
Anime, baby.
Oh, it's anime. Oh. No, I don't know.
And apparently the Soul Eater original soundtrack. So I guess this Piano Collections was maybe her first AAA, unless I just don't know what the others of these are. Monster original soundtrack. It's not Monster Hunter.
Monster.
But she's gone on since like the Piano Collections to just be involved with basically everything Square Enix has done. So she, I guess, proved herself with the Piano Collections.
Also, another interesting thing I want to mention, at least about like the engraving, is how so the original song has like the jazz swing feel, which for jazz normally what they would do to denote swing is just be like play with swing, and then they just put like eighth notes, which even though they look like they're supposed to be the same time, given like the jazz swing, it just naturally goes bum ba da dum ba da dum. But here they actually notated it out with like a dotted eighth note followed by a 16th note, but then they also gave like a little thing on the top saying play it like sort of a triplet with a triplet quarter note followed by a triplet eighth note. And I guess that's just to give the general vibe of playing. Oh, play it with that carefree swing sort of feel. Otherwise, if I play it like strictly like this, it would have been more like very march-like, very ba da da, but 1 in a 1 in a 3 in a 1, da 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 da. And it would just be very like jagged and like strict. So playing it with that loose swing sort of feel helps out.
A lot of times you don't want to mix like triplet and dotted rhythms. I mean, you can. It just there's a consistency with having everything be triplets or everything be dotted.
Which is kind of hard to do. Which actually was funny you mentioned, because this part, like right here, where it has like the triola, ba da da da, along with like the swing left hand notes. That was a bit of a yikes for me while I was practicing it. But we got through it.
I like how your interpretation of the grace note part. Da, 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 da. You always like you hit like the beat. You like do the trill on the beat rather than like preceding the beat. Like da 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 da. You always like hit it on it, which is an interesting interpretation, because I think in the original they preceded the beat with the grace note, which is, and yours like hit it on it. And it was an interesting interpretation.
Let me just play that bit real quick so we can get a bit of context. So with some dings. So yeah, that little ba-ba-da-da-da. I think the reason I played it with like the sort of late is because I wanted to have that sort of stretch, because the triola makes this phrase feel like it sort of like stretches out a little bit, and so in order to get that stretched out sort of feel, I wanted to play the note a little bit late.
Yeah.
But it just might have been how my fingers like decided to play it, because playing that with your ring finger and pinky finger would be like I have no fourth and fifth finger dexterity.
Oh, how do you play it? I didn't look at your fingering when you did it. Do you do it with your pinky and ring finger?
I don't even know if I figured out a consistent way. I just did it how it felt.
I jumped a lot when I did it, because I can't do anything with my pinky finger.
Or for that first one, it looks like third finger and fourth finger.
Yeah, that's what I did.
All right. All right, just a little bit about this section right here before we go on to the next bit. It's just like the swinging with rhythms. Da 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 da. I tried to. One of the struggles for me when I'm recording is like I want to get into the like interpretation of the piece, and like while I'm playing I want to like move my hands about like ba da 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 da, like sort of like lean into each of the notes so it has that swing vibe. But then when I'm recording, I feel like if I think too hard about like the actual like what's it called, the choreography of like the hands, then I'll just like get lost in it and be like, oops, wait, I messed up, oh, time to re-record, because recording live is great. So yeah, let's get into the next section, the alright.
The tonality change.
Oh yeah.
Here's another thing Shimomura does all the time. Kino, do you want to talk about how she's always going to the parallel key?
Honestly, I think you
I can if you want me
to. About it. Yeah, I'm kind of just hanging out here.
Shimomura is always writing tracks in some major key tracks. She always shifts to the parallel key in the part B of the song or whatever. So this one starts off in F sharp major and then goes to F sharp minor for this B section by doing a D chord, an E chord, which you'd think would lead to an F sharp minor, but then she uses the
I mean, there is
third to go back to the original.
Yeah, there is an F sharp minor chord and then a da 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 da, but then it goes back, like you said, it goes back to the original key with the
Yeah.
Just for those,
she's always doing that. She does that in Working Together too. She's in A major, then she plays like a F. No, she plays a D and an E and an F sharp minor. No, what was it? No, she plays an F and a G, pretending like she's an A minor, but then she goes back to A major to repeat the first part.
Yeah.
So she's always doing this.
I feel like that's generally. I feel like personally, the sort of effect that gives is that when you have that chord progression of like D major, E major, F sharp major, it's sort of like, I don't want to say cliche, but it's like a very standard like a standard like adventurous sort of like key change, not key change, chord progression. Like, actually, David, do you think you can play it for the audience so they can take a listen? Gotta love having the actual piano on board for audio examples.
It's kind of like, I'm here.
It's like the sort of actually no, it's sort of like based on like the Final Fantasy like victory theme, like ba da ba da ba 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 da. It's the same chord progression, but like in a different context. So it's just the sort of, I cannot speak. I sort of can't talk. It's the sort of adventurous chord progression, which is definitely highlighted through the use of the parallel key. So yeah, let's keep on moving on. So then a little recapitulation down an octave. Except this time you have the left hand actually like playing the bass note.
Yeah, and she adds like intervals in the right hand.
Yeah, like right here.
Love those intervals. They're cool.
Yeah, especially right there, that last part, how it has the you have the first they're like going up together, ba da da da, and then you have the top part, do 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 do, whereas the bottom part is like still playing quarter notes. So that was an interesting little bit of like rhythmic, different rhythms like playing together, playing around each other. So like sort of like ba da ba da ba da ba. Just the way it sort of like goes up and down between. The way I visualize it is just the way that the rhythm goes up and down between the bottom part and the top part. Ba da.
Oh yeah, the contrasting motion. Contrary motion is
yeah, that's the term. That was the official music theory TM term I was looking for.
This engraving is beautiful. God, it's so pretty to look at. It's so clean.
The photo scan is not the cleanest, but actually seeing it like in person, because one of my friends like got the Kingdom Hearts piano collections for her birthday from her boyfriend, and having the actual book in front of you and it's just like, oh, it's so nice, it's so clean.
This is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. Oh, and another sort of like chord building technique that's used in this arrangement to give that homey vibe is this interval that I want to talk about a bit, where you start on the bass note, and then you go up a fifth to the fifth, and then you go up a major sixth into the major third of the chord, and that's just sort of like the way that chord is built with like, especially here with like F sharp, C sharp, and A sharp. It generally has a very homey vibe, just because I feel like the chords are spaced out and like each of the notes in the chords are spaced out relatively equally. Like you have a perfect fifth and you have a major sixth, which are a fifth and a sixth are pretty close together. So just the way that you have that equal spacing, combined with how that's sort of how going a bit into like sound design and engineering here, how when you listen to a note, like let's say you listen to an F sharp, that note isn't just one note, it's actually like a collection of different frequencies. And so the main thing you hear is like the bass frequency, like the root, but on top of that you have like, there's the fifth playing, then there's like the fourth playing and whatnot. And so these frequencies together, they sort of like mash together, you don't hear them all, but you hear just the bass frequency. However, this chord, the way this chord is built was the bass and then the fifth and then the perfect third on top of it, sort of mimics how the frequencies in a single note are built up together, and just the way sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say it's a very pianistic way of like writing harmony, rather than having everything kind of clumped together, where it's like it can be like sort of dissonant, especially as you go lower and you can't hear any of the individual notes.
Yeah,
it's
like, the funk.
This kind of a spacing is like, it's so good. It's very pianistic. It's like,
oh shoot! Oh, I got it. Yo, oh no! I'm covering up the notification with your video feed, but Charles Ritz was the follow. Yo, how's it going, my guy? I was shoot. I'm so sorry I missed it. I was looking at YouTube live stream chat.
What's poppin', Charles?
Yeah, Charles is also another cool arranger dude. Y'all should check out. And thank you for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the stream. I don't know why it's not showing up in my Twitch notifications. Thanks, Twitch. Very cool. Yeah, basically, just having that chord structure of having the bottom being the root with the perfect fifth on top of it and perfect sixth is a very nice and open and homey and warm sounding chord structure that adds to the happy vibe. So yeah, now that we're here, let's get back to the next time it does the chord, the key change. Do do do.
Oh yeah, that whole transitional section leading up to G and into G. Jesus. Even still, the motif of doing the, major to the suspended, and then back to the major for that whole section leading up to the big build-up where you arrive on G. So cool. God, friggin' Sachiko Miyano. Hello.
I also like that there's these other like sub melodies going on, like the ba da 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 da. Just the way sort of like we mentioned before, how it weaves in and out with the main melody, gives that vibe of like friends working together. Even though this is a place in the game where Riku abandons you because Maleficent said so. But anyway, just the general like sort of vibe of Kingdom Hearts is like working with friends and whatnot. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much.
I feel like Sachiko Miyano like really excels in the way she uses gestures, like in her arrangements. I'm not sure how to explain it. Honestly, I don't know if I'm saying nonsense, but sometimes like I think this goes back to what David said in the start, that like she sometimes starts her arrangements introducing little elements that are gonna be more prominent later, right? But she also does this throughout the arrangement, like almost like little variations of certain parts. I'm honestly not sure what part we're listening to right now because the stream is delayed and I'm like all over the place trying to follow where we are. But there is like a little part where, and I don't even remember where this is, but she does that again. And it's pretty fun. It's almost like a variation of the melody at certain points to transition into another part. And I think that is neat. Anyway,
would it mess up the stream if I streamed what I'm looking at?
I think you'd be good. I think. Let's try it out and see what happens.
Okay. I'm just gonna stream my first screen so Kinode can read the sheets too. Ah, perfect. If you can see this.
Okay. Yeah.
So we were talking about this part. This what
There's lots of sheet music section, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So that like element that shows up in the beginning.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Neat. So yeah, we're right here, I guess.
Alright, so now let's get to, where are we right now? We're at letter F. Alright, so basically after just playing the melody, like introducing it fully with like in a very full sort of register down in like the 4th octave of the piano, now we go up an octave into what my Twitter meme would lovingly recall the twinkly bits.
That meme was really good, by the way.
I'm super happy you enjoyed it.
Thud, thud.
Thunk, thunk, thunk. Alright, this part, this key change, let's take a listen to it real quick. This is a very me sort of key change, just like hamming up the chords as much as possible, just to make them sound as pretty, but doing it very slow and like keeping them on for, at least in my case, keeping them going for a bit way too long. I remember.
You know where this? Now that I'm looking at it, you know where this came from was this left hand part from F. That's just an evolution of the F part, the left hand. It's neat.
I remember back when like they were doing the live stream for releasing the menu album for Materia Collective, and they were going through my piece, and Doug Perry was like, "Man, this piece is great. If only it weren't over 5 minutes because he put his foot on the pedal for too long." I'm like, "Well, you're not wrong." But yeah, this section where like it transitions keys from. Oh, I didn't actually play the key that it goes into. There, chord. We played one chord. That's the key. So it transitions from F sharp major into B major, which is the fourth of F sharp, and it does this by introducing an E natural into the key of F sharp, which F sharp normally has an E sharp. Oh boy, E sharp's my favorite, and introduces this E natural, which when you put that into the key of F sharp, your main chord goes F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E natural, which is an F sharp 7 chord. Oh, why'd you play it major 7?
Oh, E natural, sorry.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
It's normally this, but
yeah. And using that sort of chord, that's a F sharp dominant 7 chord, which through what's the name of the cadence? What's the name of like a normal cadence from 4 to 1? No, not 4 to 1, 5 to 1.
5-1 is authentic.
Yeah, authentic. Through using authentic cadence, you can transition from F sharp to B, since F sharp is the fifth of B major. So basically, it's just a F sharp dominant 7 to B major, and that's how to do this chord progression. But the thing is that it sounds more natural than you think it might be, since like throughout the piece, there's been like lots of inclusions of E natural through like especially the section that's like using the parallel key where. Yeah. It's literally like E major. It's E natural major. So by having that, introducing those E naturals earlier in the piece, throwing in the E natural into the F sharp chords at G just makes it feel a bit more natural, not like something that you just shoehorned in there for a key change, which then also sounds really pretty, and also I think also sort of retains that like free-spirited adventurous vibe, just because introducing the E natural changes your mode from F sharp Ionian to F sharp Mixolydian, which I think we mentioned before in the Final Fantasy 13 discussion, where Mixolydian is basically the same thing as taking your scale and adding a flat 7 onto it, which is what of course is done here. And that Mixolydian scale is I think I don't want to say cliche again, but it's also another generally used technique to make pieces sound more adventurous just by adding in that flat 7. A couple examples would be like the
every Celtic score ever made.
Yeah, I was gonna say Legend of Zelda, but it uses a bit more than that, I think. Just the ba 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 bum ba da ba da ba da ba dum ba da ba da bum ba dum ba dum. Yeah, just the use of mixed.
That uses a G in A major.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't exactly work as Final Fantasy because it also has the flat 6 in there, but.
Oh yeah, it's different. It's just totally messed up mode.
But yeah, like I was saying, basically, this key change works very well just because it uses techniques that's been introduced earlier, and plus using Mixolydian mode helps retain the vibe. Plus, ding-dong chords sound neat. Plus, it also retains like the sort of like continuous motion of the F sharp in the left hand with the bum 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 bum, in order to keep it like rooted on the F sharp, so it's not super viscerally jarring.
That's a pedal point, I think is the term for it.
Oh yeah, pedal point, just having that F sharp just in the bottom, just staying there. Or
I never thought about that. The reason the E is natural and it doesn't sound forced is because it's literally part of the composition, where Shimomura did it by changing them to the parallel key in the B section. That's cool. I didn't consider that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why Miyano didn't make all the D's natural or all the A's natural. Oh, I guess that would have been too much at that point.
Yeah, you don't want to like overdo to
oversaturate the. We are changing keys now. Just do one note, one pitch at a time.
I feel called out now because most of the time when I key change in my arrangement, it's like, I'm just gonna like go up a minor third, and now we have a key change, and let's do it again and again and again.
Yeah, I do that too. It's very funny.
So yeah, let's go to H. Measure H. Oh, what a letter. Can we get H's in the chat for H?
Dude, fucking H in it.
H. Well, let's just let me just go back a little bit for context.
Do I have enough points to unlock the H? Yes! Yes!
Oh.
Redeem.
Is that a thing?
Look, you can use channel points to redeem H.
I will have. I have
Let's go to
redeemed
measure.
it.
Oh, I like this part where I like and don't like this part where you have to like where you have the left hand playing the F sharp below and underneath the below and above what the right hand's playing. So I wasn't sure exactly how to play this section. I just put my left hand like over my right hand very awkwardly.
The world's not supposed to be that. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so that section was a nice slowed down pace. Gets off changing from F sharp to B. It also gives off that warm. I don't know, for some reason I feel like this range of the piano from like the third octave to like the fourth octave, just like playing chords in that region is very like warm and like full sounding, especially when you play slow things.
Yeah.
And again, it uses that chord structure that we mentioned earlier, was the root, and then the fifth, and then the perfect sixth, and then just puts the octave on tap. Oh, Tim mentions the that part at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 after H is like a little list hand positioning.
Yeah.
Because you see here.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, because you see here like you have the left hand playing the F sharps up and down, whereas you have the right hand playing like right in the middle of that.
Yeah. That's fun. I was gonna say like Sadie. Is that how you pronounce that composer?
Oh yes,
S-A-T-I-E?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know too much of List's music, but maybe List does it too.
Mm.
We will simplify by making it one octave that plays every note that's needed, and then we'll go bigger. Cool composition idea. That's neat. That's like it starts off big, starts off way up here, and then moves down into like this is now the middle.
Yeah.
And then it moves back into the big section. It's kind of a cool like growth of the arrangement.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly though, if I were Miyano, I would have kept the slow section F sharp just because I like how having the low F sharp along with the C and A sharp like right above it sounds. I don't know if you can play that, David, as an example. Just play like octave left hand F sharp and then play the C sharp and A sharp right above that.
you mean like let's see, what was it? Shoot.
Oh no.
Like this.
On the it was the F sharp root. Just play.
Oh, you mean down here?
Yeah. No, I don't mean play the piece. I just mean just like a normal F sharp chord with like the low F sharp as the bass and the C sharp and A sharp above that on your right hand.
Oh. Shoot. Nope, I actually can't reach it. You mean this, I think, right? Shoot, where's your piano DS?
Gosh, dang, I'm sorry. Well, it was a time. But no, I just like that. I like, personally, I think I would have liked it more if I was like the F sharp in that. I just like F sharp in that playing an F sharp major in that range, in that like lower warm range. But the chord change is still cool. I like. That's just a personal touch. And then after that slower section, you have the Poco and Cello Rondo speed up a little bit. And then
no dynamic marking. That's interesting.
Huh.
For I. It says get louder, and then it doesn't tell you what to get louder to.
I mean, it eventually has the
Generally
mezzo
louder.
forte.
And then it keeps telling you to get louder.
Get faster, get louder.
Just keep getting louder until the fortissimo.
No specified marking. I guess that's what the original like marking at the beginning of the book was supposed to be. Like, just make it grow. Whatever.
I kind of like that, honestly. It's fun. Leaves it kind of open.
Mm-hmm.
You may interpret.
I think at this point, what I did is like 3 measures after I sort of did like a little bit of a decrescendo, just so that the mezzo forte was more like piano, just because why not? Just so you have more room to grow.
Extremify your dynamics.
Yep. And then you have this section at 1, 2, 3, 4 before J, where you have a very interesting melody in the left hand.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about with the gesture thing. Like, this is clearly like a callback to the main melody, but it's different.
Actually, it's literally is it the same? Oh no, it is different. It's so cool. It's still doing suspended to major chord, but instead of going like 4/5, it goes 4/3, which is neat.
Yeah, and then actually you mentioned earlier how the translated pianist notes say like B, have ingenuity with the damper pedal. And before I feel like this would have been this is an interesting place to use it, because what I did right before J is that for the measure right before J, for the first 2 notes I held down the damper pedal, but then for the last 2, each individual last 2 note, I let go, just so it's like da 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 da, just so it has like more weight going down that sort of staircase. Cool. I don't want to call it ingenuity, but that's like the way I interpreted
That's
it.
what Miyano wanted. Ingenious pedal. Good word, yes.
Like if you hear here in the arrangement, if you listen to the left hand, so da 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 bum, just sort of has that sort of like driving forward into the fortissimo section with the octave. So we're back to.
Interesting that it's just octaves in the right hand. It's no longer like the octave in the third like it was back in I.
Yeah, there's no chords. It's just the octaves, just to have like very clear ringing melody. And then the thing after J comes in, the double bar after J comes in with the which sort of expands on like the thing that happened earlier at measure. Where the frick is it? If my pages can load. At measure, load please. At measure E, where at measure E it had like it had the right hand going ba 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 ba, where it also had a counter melody da 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 da.
Yeah.
But now here at J, you have the counter melody just full on going da 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 da
da fully completed.
Just developing on those like little ideas here and there to make them more fully fleshed out.
There's a sub element that Miyano did.
Yeah, let me see
so many little variations of the little thing that she did. That's so cool.
Yeah, so now let's just listen to that section real quick. And in this like million measures of crescendo. Alright, before we get to the decrescendo, I just wanted to mention the freaking million bars of crescendo. You just got da 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 da. First, you got just the melody and the counter melody playing in thirds with each other, in parallel thirds. Da 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 da. And then you have an octave along with parallel thirds, just more elements just like build on top of each other.
Well, that makes sense why then they just had octaves at the beginning to make it big at the end.
Yeah, so that the thirds come in and then you have that has more impact. And here's another place where I just said mezzo forte and I'll just go piano just so I have more room to crescendo.
I will make it big.
And then let's listen to this ending bit at K. So I have the big funk dum bum bum. And it gets very quiet. Funk. Gosh,
that is my. Oh, that's so cool.
That last note is just like it's super hard to get it right because you want to play like it's a piano note with an accent and a staccato on it, so it's like I'm getting mixed signals here. You want to play it like nice and short, but you want to play it like loud, but you want to play it like quiet. So it's just
has to be just right.
An ending,
right. But yeah, so this ending like helps capitulate like all the different elements that have been put together in the arrangement is for like tie 'em up in a neat little bow. Like you have your big chords with like octaves, like bum bum bum. Your C sharp octave that's like been persistent throughout the piece. You have the left hand doing the ba da ba da ba da ba da. First with like you do like first it has the little chords here, the F sharp and A sharp, G sharp, B, but then eventually it dies down to just being like just an F sharp and a G sharp. And also like the little tenutos here. The way I played this is that for, like the first two measures I played these just tenuto, and then while it's dying down a bit I sort of like
erased it.
I gradually like sort of like rolled each of the notes a little bit more. So like bum 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 blum blum. I don't know. I just felt like that'd be a cool way to, because you have like the same thing being played 4 times. Like how many times can you play tenuto chords and make it sound interesting when you're trying to do crescendo?
I imagine also like from an engraving standpoint, it would look very ugly to just like for one random chord to put like a gliss or a arpeggio or whatever that marking.
That'd I'm actually not sure if that's what they did in the original. I'm not sure what they did in the original track there for that, but that's just how I did it. Then it goes down an octave. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Also, more thing about like damper pedal. I think like for the first 4 measures, I used the typical damper. Cause I used the typical damper pedal technique. Because in the original track, what they used for the damper pedal is like damper pedal for the first 2 beats and for the let go, and then do for the second 2 beats like ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, just to sort of emphasize that F sharp to the what's it called, the suspension.
Yeah, suspended 4.
Yeah, it's from the F sharp to the suspended 4, so that each chord has more weight because the damper pedal is being played while each chord is being played. So while it's just the F sharp, you have the damper pedal down for the first 2 beats, and then for the suspension on the last 2 beats, you have the damper pedal down. But then by the ending, I'm like, you know what? Let's sort of like get back into that cheery, playful mood from the beginning. So I let go. I just took out the damper pedal. No more. I took off my crutch, my giant crutch. I was like, let's try to actually play this with ba. So you can hear like every single articulation is the ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da.
Especially there in the last like 4 measures. If this were like on a real piano, I would imagine the pianist would be like using the far left one. What's that one called?
Well, the soft pedal.
Yeah, they'd use that for the final 4 measures of the track.
Oh yeah, I really wish I had a soft pedal, because soft pedal sounds so good. But every time I have
especially with no suspension. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So nice.
Just hearing the felt of that. And yeah, just dying down little by little. Da, 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 da. Plunk. Just a little plunk. It gives a just like the name implies, having playing the plunk gives like the cheery and cheery and upbeat vibe just with a single note, and then hand in hand's next. And yeah, that's basically the gist of the arrangement. I know we stormed through a whole ton of things, but like let's just like go over some of the general points that we made. So like some of the rhythmic elements they use, like having the swing notes consistently throughout I don't think there's a single moment. No, there are definitely moments where it's not used, but like 99% of the time it has the swing rhythm, which has the lazy upbeat jazz vibe that's in the original piece. Having the use of the parallel key in order to take advantage of the more adventurous sounding chord progressions. Some of the chord structure with having the bass and the 5th and the 6th. The bass with the 5th on top, the 6th on top, in order to have a very open yet full, spaced out sort of warm chord. The way it plays with dynamics in order to emphasize each section more. The way it uses the key change via Mixolydian mode in order to change from F sharp major to B major in order to have also have an adventurous vibe to it. And generally all these just techniques in general culminate into having a tune that sounds quaint and dandy, yet also friendly and warm and full, and that's what makes it so simply neat.
I'm surprised at how simple the arrangement is, while still being sort of as full as it. You can't really. What else would you add to it? I wonder, if there's anything you feel like could be taken away from the arrangement and it'd be better off for it, or is it very Edgar Allan Poe-ish and like it can't be fixed anymore? This is all there is.
I think like the original piece, like a lot of people don't realize this because it's so well composed and loops so well, but it's actually really short. It's a very short melody. Like I think it's like a minute long or something. But Miyano is really good at playing with themes and like making little variations and playing with ideas and adding transitional material between sections. So like, I think it's just right. You know, everything is just right because she just takes the very simple material and plays with it in very natural ways, makes everything lead up to the grand moments in a way that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I really like the way she adds the key changes are, well, I don't really know. I feel like the key changes aren't the tool to do that. They're kind of the consequence. But the transitional material between the key changes, I think, is very. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going at.
Where the arranging shines through.
Yeah. I think that's like it really stands out because it makes so much sense.
I think that's a good way to put it. Miyano, as an arranger, is the transitional sections in Traverse Town. Everything else is kind of like every other arranger would have done it this way. But the cool thing about it that makes it Miyano-ish is the transitional material. And I guess which keys she decided to go into.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you see that in a lot of her other arrangements too. I love her Shion arrangement from the Field and Battle piano collections because it does that a lot too. It must do the key change thing at least 3 times. And I think it's one of the only versions that does this. Oh, I think no. The piano collections and the Memorial version do the key change for Shion. And they're both arranged by Sachiko Miyano. And both of them also do the thing where they have additional transitional stuff, especially the Memorial arrangement, which is very interesting.
I actually think she also does exactly the same thing in the Night of Fate arrangement. Not to say that it's like recycled material, but it's just like a consequence of her style of arranging.
Yeah.
I think she did Night of Fate.
I don't really remember how the Night of
I
Fate
don't remember either. It's in the Field and Battle. I don't.
Gosh, I don't know enough about the Field and Battle arrangement except for I want to do Monstrous Monstro one day.
Who did that one?
Oh, that was Hiroyuka Nakayama. I forgot that's how you pronounce his name. Hiroyuka Nakayama. He is the performer for a lot of these tracks. He must have performed this arrangement as well. The original recording of this. And that's the only arrangement that he made for the piano collections. It was Monstrous Monstro, very smallish.
Interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that is, as y'all can see, there's so much freaking lore behind all this, like, all these composers and all these arrangements and whatnot, and that's what I'm trying to learn through hanging out with these peeps. And yeah, it's been a really good time hanging out with y'all and talking about Traverse Town. And if you all want to give some shill yourself now, on the left we have David Russell. Shill yourself, go.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me that I have to do this. Okay, follow my Kingdom Hearts music YouTube, which is Green Requiem, and I've gone through all the games. The next one coming out in about 2 weeks is the music of 0.2.
Let's go.
It's interesting, I promise.
And on
really cool.
On the right we have Kinode from Sound Ideas. It's your turn.
Hello, I'm Kinode. I like Kingdom Hearts music a lot. I'm not a pianist, so a lot of this conversation that we had today kind of flew over my head. But I do know a lot about Kingdom Hearts music in general. My channel is Kinode. I also have a Kingdom Hearts music podcast called Sound Ideas. You can check that out.
Please do.
And yeah.
Yeah, and both of these lovely fellows also help run March Caprice, which is one of the big Kingdom Hearts content creator things, which happened just a while ago. So go check out those VODs because there's some pretty good content. And yeah, so thanks again for the talk, and Hope this went a lot better than I thought it would. So hopefully we'll be having another cool talk next week for of whatever track I might do. But yeah, thank y'all for joining.
Monster.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
Monsters Monster next week. Let's go. No balls. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next little DS Dissects. Take care.